And on the line with us is Steve Horn. He is a research fellow for DeSmog Blog, a freelance investigative journalist. The website DeSmog, D-E-S-M-O-G, like get rid of the smog, DeSmogBlog.com. And Steve, welcome to the program.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you with us. You have been, you're reporting on the Standing Rock protest and the Dakota Access Pipeline. What's the latest there?
The latest is that starting soon, in this month, the Obama administration, the Bureau of Indian Affairs will begin consultations with Native American groups in various states around the country, and ending with a teleconference for those who can't make those in-person meetings. So those will take place both in October and November, after which the topic of those, of course, is discussing what can be done to avoid something like this from happening again, where the tribes weren't properly consulted. And what may come out of it is legislation proposed in Congress, which maybe would be in a lame duck session, or maybe it would be next year. It remains to be seen. But in the next couple of months, it's still in consultation mode, where the meetings will take place. The tribes will be able to voice their grievances, and we'll see what comes out of it from there. It's still pretty early on, but it's kind of also a rushed consultation process. Usually it takes place over many more months, but because of the pipeline is actually being built everywhere but on the tribal land, it's definitely a rushed process. So yeah. We'll see what happens from here.
So what's the status of the protesters / sacred space keepers, prayer warriors, however, I'm not sure exactly how they would prefer to be described, but just the idea of holding a prayer ceremony as a form of protest is very, it's brilliant. But I know a number of people have been arrested recently. What's the status of all that?
Yeah, I think the activists would kind of prefer to be called water protectors. That's the language I've seen. But
water protectors, okay.
Yeah, the encampment continues. And arrests have also continued. The whole area has been militarized by the state of North Dakota, whether it's through the National Guard or whether it's through private security firms or whether it's through the police department. And so last week there was a video that came out in which heavily armed, I don't know if it was private security or whether it was state officers or whether it was the National Guard, but they were heavily armed. They showed up with guns drawn. So it's become a pretty scary situation there. There are checkpoints to get to and from the location on the local highway system there. So in terms of on the ground, it has been covered less in recent weeks because of the debates and that sort of, everything that's going on nationally with the presidential race. But things are definitely still going on there, and it hasn't stopped just because the presidential cycle is going on. So I expected, they say they will continue to be there even as it gets very cold in the state of North Dakota.
So, Steve, for people who are not Native Americans and are not there and can't get there, what can they do to people who are listening or watching this program? What can they do to support these folks?
I believe that the tribe is still doing fundraising to get money to support what they're doing for supplies and everything that goes into keeping this campaign going on the ground. So I think that they're asking for small donations from people across the country and across around the world. That's one way. Of course, there hasn't been lately as much mainstream media coverage of this as there was maybe about a month ago. So they're relying a lot more on social media and on citizen media and the progressive media to get the word out about what's going on there. So now, probably more than ever, I would expect that they need help getting the word out through social media than, say, a month ago when the New York Times was on the ground or when Washington Post went and other publications. They've sort of left the scene, but things continue to happen at Standing Rock.
Yeah, important point, a really important point. Steve Horn, research fellow for DeSmog Blog and an freelance investigative journalist, DeSmogBlog.com. Steve, thanks a lot for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Great talking with you. We will be back in just a minute, coming up on 12 minutes past the hour. Stick around.